So what is attraction? Okay, like what is it that creates that spark in a woman, that just tingles her emotions and ultimately turns her on, okay? Because this is probably the biggest misconception when it comes to understanding women, understanding what makes them tick. What is attraction? If you ask anyone like, how do you attract women? You're always going to get the same exact response. It's like, well, son, to attract a desirable woman, you need to first meet society's superficial standards, okay? And those two main standards are looks and money. If you're not good looking, you're never gonna get a good looking girl. And if you don't have money, you're never gonna get anything, okay? You need to be good looking, you need to be model looking, like whatever society's, example is of good looking, you need to meet that requirement and you need to have money. If you don't have that, you are done. You're never going to attract a woman ever. Okay, and guess what? All of that is wrong, okay? You don't need to rely on looks, you don't need to rely on money to get a fucking girl, okay? Ultimately, when you really get to the root of it all, when it just boils away and just strip away all that bullshit, what is it, okay, that just creates or causes attraction? What is attraction? Value. Basically, anything that improves your chance of survival or reproduction. Okay, that's it. That is what causes attraction. Okay, as human beings, we're really not that complex. You're like, oh my God, human beings, so complex. Oh my God, humans, oh my God. Fuck no. Okay, we basically have two drives, survival, reproduction, and that's it. Okay, we're like these little basic organisms. We're like, you know what? Survive, reproduce, and anything, okay, that improves our chances of survival or reproduction has value to us, and that guess what? Our emotions align with that and we feel attraction. Okay, you might see a hot woman, you're like, oh my God, she seems so youthful, like beautiful genes, like my offspring would then be youthful as well, and that improves my chance of reproduction, and then my genes will survive along until the end of time. Holy shit, she has value. Attraction. Okay, that is what causes attraction, value. And ultimately, beyond that, anything that causes good emotions, okay? Because oftentimes, the things that trigger good emotions in a person also align with the things that increase that person's chance of survival and reproduction, okay? So there's a certain link there. Now, at the same time, okay, because whenever you feel good, you associate that with value, guess what? Your emotions can also lead you astray, okay? For example, say you decide to eat a hamburger. You're like, oh my God, Big Mac, this feels so good. Is the Big Mac necessarily increasing your chance of survival and reproduction? Probably not, but you're feeling good, so your mind, is like tricked. It's like, oh, there must be value here. Okay, so value isn't perfect, but this is what attraction is. Okay, what is attraction? Value. Okay, and this is something that is hardwired into all women everywhere. Okay, it doesn't matter what country, it doesn't matter who the fucking girl is, everyone is just driven by value. So let's link this back to caveman times. Okay, now this may sound a little bit ridiculous and out of the blue, like let's start talking about caveman times, but guess what? Attraction isn't something that's brand new. Okay, it's not something that was invented this year, it's something that's fucking programmed into you, it's just hardwired into you from the beginning of time. Okay, and guess what? What attraction was back then is still what it is today. So if we take, your typical caveman, okay, or say we take like an alpha caveman, what would determine if this guy is attractive or not? Okay, and ultimately it would be behavioral cues, not visual cues. Things like dominance, resourcefulness, decisiveness, okay, fearlessness, being very grounded, being very free, being very loud, be very self-assertive. Okay, that there is what comprises, like an attractive caveman, okay, like that alpha caveman. And all that, guess what, is in the behavior. Okay, back in the day, a girl's not gonna look at a guy and be like, you know what, that caveman there, he's very good looking. He looks like a nice, pretty boy. I'm very attracted by that guy. She's not looking at that at all because that has no value. What has value? The behavior. Okay, and this is something that's very important to understand. Okay, from a woman's perspective, okay, what constitutes an attractive male, okay, an attractive guy, is in the subcommunicated behavioral patterns, behavioral cues. Okay, it's not in how he looks, it's the way he acts. Okay, it's like, is this guy an alpha caveman? Is this guy going to increase my chances of survival, reproduction? Yes or no. Okay, so it's not in the visual, it's in the behavioral. And this is also why it oftentimes takes women a lot more time to make the decision to sleep with someone than, say, men. Okay, as men, we're more attuned to the visual cues. Okay, you might see an attractive woman, you're like, oh my God, she is physically attractive. You know, I want to fuck her. Okay, attraction is there, value is there, you're good to go. Okay, you made the decision to sleep with her. Okay, you're more like a light switch. It's like attraction, and then you might see a girl who's not that attractive. You're like, ew, not attraction. Okay, you decide fast because you're attuned to the visual. Women, on the other hand, are more attuned to the behavioral cues. Okay, so they're gonna need a lot more time to screen who is an alpha guy and who isn't, who is sex-worthy and who isn't, okay? You might walk up to a girl and at first glance, she's like, this guy seems pretty dominant, you know, pretty decisive, pretty resourceful, awesome, but is he really that guy? And then she'll take her time and judge his behavior. Okay, she's gonna wait to see if something slips, okay, if he's like really faking it, okay? So instead of being like a light switch, she's more like a volume knob, okay? She needs a lot more time to be like, you know what? I like this guy, I'll sleep with him, okay? She also has a lot more to lose, okay? For a guy, having sex is just like an easy investment. You're just like, fuck, leave, okay? For a girl, what is she risking? 9 months of pregnancy, okay? A baby. Does she want a baby with a guy who is not sex-worthy? With a guy who has no value? Fuck no. So all of this is ultimately why things like looks and money are not a fucking excuse, okay? No guy who's good with women is ever going to blame it on looks or money if things don't go his way. Okay, if he goes out and say he doesn't have a really good night, he's not gonna be like, oh man, well, it's, you know what, you did better because of your looks, man. It's your looks. Oh, it's your money, man. You made more money than me. That's why you did better than me. That's why that guy took the girl. It's his money, it's his looks. Okay, that will never happen. Okay, guys who are good with women understand it's about the behavioral cues. Okay, looks don't mean shit. Okay, why? Because we come from such a harsh background. Okay, like the environment back in the day, like caveman times, was so harsh. Being like a little pretty boy wasn't a fucking asset. Okay, if a girl saw a pretty boy, she's not like, oh, pretty boys increase my chances of survival and reproduction. That will never fucking happen. And money doesn't matter why, because guess what? A girl can easily get a guy to pay for her shit without sleeping with him. Okay, all girls, especially really attractive girls, have orbiters. You know, they have little guys who just orbit around them. They never sleep with those guys, but those guys just buy them things. You know, it's like, oh, I like this girl, I'm buying her all this in hopes that one day she'll sleep with me. Okay, so she can get her money without having fucking sex. Okay, so looks and money are not a fucking excuse. Okay, you want to be focusing on the sub-communicated behavior. Okay, and like what you're putting out there in the deeper layers. Okay, you want to be dominant, you want to be decisive. Okay, you want to tap into that raw attraction. Okay, that's things like dominance, attraction. She's like, oh my God, like an alpha guy, but also things like social intelligence. Now, as a side note, another thing that has a lot of value and that women will fuck you for is validation. Okay, remember, survival, reproduction. That could be the alpha guy, but it could also be for reasons that would say boost a woman's self-image, okay, boost a woman's reputation. Okay, in terms of survival reproduction, women are constantly monitoring where they're at on the social ladder. And if they think sleeping with you will boost them up to, say, the upper higher class, they will do it as well. Okay, so those are like the two main reasons, okay? Raw attraction and validation. So ultimately, as a guy, okay, don't worry about looks, don't worry about money, okay, forget about all that. Focus on the deeper layer. When you walk up to a girl, focus on the behavioral cues that are being subcommunicated and realize, okay, that being a sex-worthy, naturally attractive guy isn't something that you do, it's something that you are. And this brings us to another misconception, okay, when it comes to understanding women, where basically because a woman senses a man's value in these subcommunicated behavioral cues, what you have to realize is that attraction is an emotional reaction and not a logical one. Okay, and this is huge. You can't logically convince a woman to feel emotional attraction for you. Okay, it's just not going to happen. Men are logical, women are emotional. Okay, if we link this to caveman times again, okay, if you take an alpha guy back in the day, he's in a tribe, he's going out to hunt, okay, he's like killing wild animals, he's like in this very harsh environment. there's no room for him to be all emotional. Okay, there's no room for him to be like, oh my God, I'm just so emotional. You know, like there's a lion, but I'm just so emotional. This girl, he's just like, let's get this shit done. Let's get this shit handled. Let's make the tribe fucking survive. Okay, it's more like logical, you know, task-oriented, like, boom, let's do it. Okay, women, on the other hand, back in caveman times, are more emotional, okay? They have to form emotional bonds with their babies, you know, in order to help them survive. They have to connect the tribe together. When the men get back from like a day's hunt, it's like, look, relax, it's all good. We maintain harmony, everything is all good. And of course, because they're more, you know, aware of the behavioral cues, like, is this guy sex-worthy? Is this guy not sex-worthy? Is he attractive? Is he not attractive? They're gonna be more in touch with those emotions, okay? So men are logical, women are emotional. They are not like you, okay? If you go up to a woman, you're like trying to logically convince her to like you, it's not gonna work. If you're like, look, I'm the best match for you. I'm a really nice guy. I make a lot of money. I'm good looking. Okay, if you're still coming from that paradigm there, I will treat you right. I will never cheat on you. You will have a great time. Like, look, this is what your life is going to become. Here is the game plan. It's just not going to work, okay? Even if it makes sense logically, what you're going to realize is that what a woman logically says she wants, okay? Because she'll say, oh, I want like a nice, sweet guy. I want the life plan. What she says she wants is rarely what she emotionally responds to. For example, if you ask a girl, you know, like, what type of guy would you date? You know, what type of guy would you sleep with? What is she most likely going to tell you? She's like, you know what? I just want a guy who treats me right. You know, I want a gentleman. I want a nice guy. You know, I want a very, very nice guy. I want a guy who takes me out to dinner. I want a guy who walks me to the door. He gives me the little peck on the cheek. I want a modest guy. I want a respectful guy. I want a loving, caring, giving, just a perfect, you know, just a nice individual. You know, I want a guy who just, you know, is my little Prince Charming. Okay, and she'll tell you that, and you'll think, you know what? I'm a nice guy. Why doesn't she go for me? I'm the nicest guy here, you know, I would treat her right, like I would do all those things, but who does she actually go for? Okay, and you'll see this time and time again, the biggest asshole around. Okay, all of the guys who she's fucking, all of her ex-boyfriends probably cheated on her, probably fucked her over, and you keep seeing that and you're like, why is she going for the asshole? Why doesn't she just see that I'm the nice guy? What the fuck? Okay, and what you have to understand is that logically, okay, when she's telling you, I want a nice guy, I want a respectable man, okay, she means that. She logically does want a nice guy, but ultimately human beings are just going to do what their emotions tell them to do. And when she's face to face with that asshole, what is she feeling? Value, survival, reproduction, good emotions, oh my God. And then she fucks him and backwards rationalizes, okay? Women live in the emotion of the moment and they backwards rationalize, okay? And ultimately, all human beings do to some extent, okay? If we take that Big Mac example, okay, logically, you know that that's not the better choice. You know, if someone asks you like, you know what, do you want to be healthy? Do you want to live longer? You know what, this salad is a lot better for you. Okay, logically, you're like, you know what, I do want a salad. You know, I do want to be healthy. I do want to start going to the gym. But guess what? When that Big Mac is there, are you like, you know what? I'm gonna go for the salad. You're like, no, I want the fucking Big Mac. I want the emotions. Okay, does a salad give you massive emotions? Or you're like, oh my God, a salad. Okay, probably not, unless you condition yourself to feel something when you eat the fucking salad. You don't feel shit. When you eat the Big Mac, you're like, oh, good emotions. Okay, it's the same with a girl. She's like, you know what? I want the nice guy. I want the salad. But ultimately, what is she gonna go for? The Big Mac, the asshole. They'll tell you they want like the nice guy, you know, like I want the sweet Prince Charming, you know, I'm a good person, I'm a good girl, I would never go for an asshole, ever, okay? But that there is just a form of rationalization, okay? It's a little excuse that they tell themselves in order to, you know, dissipate the tension between who they think they are, okay, like, oh, I'm a good person, I would always go for the salad, I would never be unhealthy, and their biological drive, okay? Big Mac, okay? Rationalizations, don't listen to that shit. Look at the facts, look beneath the fucking surface, okay? This is also why sometimes it's hard to ask girls for any advice. this. Okay, now some girls are very self-aware and they'll tell you straight up, this is the fucking deal. But a lot of girls, they live in that little rationalization. They're like, oh no, well, you just gotta be sweet, you gotta be very nice, and all that is fucking bullshit, okay? That is like someone who got fucking knocked out by Mike Tyson trying to teach boxing. It's like, you know what? He punched me once, so now I have authority and I can teach you how to fucking box. His fist touched my face. I'm now an expert boxer. Okay, that is the exact same fucking thing. Now, as a little side note, okay, because women live in the emotion of the moment and then they backwards rationalize, what is the best way to get a girlfriend? Okay, and it's important to understand this, fuck her as soon as possible. Okay, that is the best way to get a girlfriend. This doesn't mean that the girl is necessarily a slut. Okay, don't be like, oh, but if you fuck her as soon as possible, she's a slut, or you will seem like an asshole. If you like the girl, and you want her to become your girlfriend, take your time, take her out on dates, treat her right, be very nice, put yourself in that little nice boyfriend role. Fuck no. Okay, if I see a girl and I want her to be my girlfriend, I go as fast as I can to sex. Okay, that is the best way. Okay, and ultimately that is the main quote unquote challenge. Okay, because once a girl decides to fuck you, what is she basically acknowledging? She's like, you know what? This guy is naturally attractive. He's sex worthy. He is the alpha guy. I'm spreading my legs. I'm risking having a kid with this guy. Okay, now she's not necessarily thinking that nowadays. She's like, you know what? I might have a kid, but biologically, that's what she's feeling. I'm risking having a kid and I'm okay with that because this guy is the shit. And because he's the shit, my kid will be the fucking shit. Okay, like survival, reproduction. So she's risking all that just to fuck you. And it's a huge form of investment. Okay, and once she does that, making her your girlfriend is a fucking joke. Okay, now assuming you've structured the interaction correctly, okay, and we'll cover this in a later segment, but ultimately, transitioning sex to girlfriend is easy as shit, okay? She's invested massively, and secondly, okay, what is the backwards rationalization going to do? She's like, oh my God, I fucked this guy so fast, and what does society say? If you fuck a guy, that means you love him. Okay, if you don't love the person who you fuck, you are a slut. And then she'll rationalize like, you know what, this guy was awesome. If I fucked him and I followed my emotions in the moment, that means that, you know what, there was something special in the air. It was magic. It was magic. This guy, oh my God, he just took me off my feet. He's the man. Oh my God. Okay, and she'll backwards rationalize and ultimately fall in love with you because you fucked her as soon as possible. Okay, so keep this in fucking mind. Now, how does this apply directly, in your interactions with women? Ultimately, okay, when talking to a woman, focus on changing her mood, not her mind. Okay, the mind always follows the emotions. Okay, whatever you're trying to convince her to do, never do it logically. Okay, it's more important to focus on the sub-communications, okay, like the deeper layer of the interaction. For example, if I'm mad, okay, I can say, I'm mad, or I can just be like, and you can just sense in the deeper emotional behavioral cues that I am mad, okay? Girls will more likely follow that than anything logical, okay? An easy example is, say you're talking to a girl and you want to bring her in a bathroom to fuck her. Okay, this is something that I used to do in Switzerland where I'd go on dates with girls and I'd take them to this little bench that was right on the lake with a public restroom right next to it. Okay, and say I'm talking to the girl, I'm like, you know what? How do I bring this girl from the bench, like us talking on the bench, to the bathroom to fuck her? Okay, a little bit more of an extreme example. But ultimately, if I'm like, you know what? We should go fuck in the bathroom, what is she gonna say? Ugh, fuck no. Okay, logically, she'll never agree to that because it fucks with, again, that vision of who she is. But what if I start just kissing her? I'm like making out. I start fingering her. It's like, you know what? You're making out now we're fingering. It's like this emotional buildup. Now that she's emotionally turned on, what is the mind gonna do? Oh, you know what? Fuck it. Just follow the emotions, okay? She'll fuck me in the bathroom and then she'll backwards rationalize, okay? So change her mood, not her fucking mind. And ultimately, when interacting with women, focus on those sub-communications, okay? Don't be all logical, like, oh, I'm a cool guy. Do it in the behavior, okay? When you go up, be man to woman. Have like that strong eye contact, okay? That breaking rapport tonality, okay? Where your voice goes down at the end. It's not like, oh, hey, how's it going? And trying to supplicate like that. It's like, hey, it's just very commanding. It's very like dominant like that. Be physical. Just be very boom, okay? Like this is me. And ultimately, the three best, emotions or subcommunications in order to turn a girl on, and you can kind of bounce between all three of them, are adding to the fun. Okay, if you go up and you're just like, fun, 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 fun. Okay, that's a great emotion. The girls will then logically follow. Okay, everyone wants to have more fun. If you are like, you know what, sex is just more fun, she'll be like, really? Okay. Okay, if she's in that little upward spiral of fun, it's like if you go to Vegas, it's like, fun, now we're gambling. You're like, yay, now we're partying. Yay, now we're going to the fucking drinks. Now we're gambling again. You'll be more likely to just throw your money on the fucking table because it's adding to the fun. Okay, so that would be number one, adding to the fun. Okay, focus on that when talking to women. Number two is challenging. Okay, everyone likes to be like, challenge. It's like, oh my God, this is a challenge. It's like an emotional spike, okay, that adds kind of like some polarity, okay, kind of like a magnet. It's like, oh, push, pull, back and forth. Okay, this is like the baseline of flirting. Okay, so number two, challenging, and number three, commanding. Okay, when you're like, hey, okay, as I said before, breaking rapport, you're just ordering her, you're telling her just very thoroughly, like, this is what's up. Or like, hey, I'm Julian. Like that. It's like, oh my God, she feels like masculine energy. It taps into that raw attraction. Okay, so change her mood, not her mind. Focus on the subcommunications, okay, the deeper layer, not the surface logical layer, and focus on adding to the fun, challenging, and commanding. And keep in mind as well that, again, this applies to all women. Okay, there are no exceptions to the rule. It's like, you know what? Jenny would never fall for that, adding to the fun, challenging, and commanding. She's different. She's a very, very nice girl. She's very, very nice. Fuck that shit, okay? All girls, okay? I don't care who the girl is. She could be smart, dumb. She could be beautiful, unattractive. She could be nice or mean. She could be all bitchy. She could be your girl next door. She could be your model-looking girl. It doesn't matter who. All girls love to have more fun, okay? Who doesn't like having more fun? It's like, do you want to have more fun? Yes, okay? Everyone will say yes. All girls love to feel that masculine like polarity, like those little challenges, like playful challenges, those little pushes, like, interesting. Like, are you from Los Angeles? Really? Interesting. They love that little, emotional spike. And all girls, okay, no matter who they are, no matter where the fuck they live, love to experience that masculine polarity, okay? So don't use that as a little excuse like, oh, but she is the exception. All girls, okay, this is just hardwired into them. The last misconception, as silly as this may potentially sound, is that contrary to popular belief, women love sex. Okay, let me say it again. Women love sex. Okay, this whole little illusion of like, you know what? Men are always the ones chasing after women. They are the ones who enjoy sex way more. That's all they think about. They're like, you know what? Give me the pussy. Give me the pussy. Just running around. Whenever there's like a little scandal in the news, it's always the man who cheated on his wife. Bad, bad, bad. Women, they're not about sex. They are more virtuous than that. They don't care about like just sex. They're a lot more developed, a lot more mature. Men, all they think about is sex. Okay, they enjoy sex more than women. For women, they'll do it because they have to. Okay, that little illusion is wrong. Okay, women love sex, and they probably love sex more than you. Okay, you might be like, what? They do? Yes, they do. Okay, think of it. Who has more sexual partners in a lifetime, men or women? Okay, the answer is women. Who enjoys sex? Okay, who has a more intense orgasm during sex, men or women? Women. Okay, what do men look like during sex? They're just like, yeah, yeah. What do women look like? Oh my God, oh I just came. Oh my God, I came again. Oh my God. Okay, who do you think likes sex more? Fucking women. Okay, so let go of the little illusion and keep that in fucking mind. Women love sex. Now, as a little side note, this isn't bad. Okay, if you're realizing right now, like, oh, I guess he's right. Women, they all love sex. That's all they think about. Oh my God, all they think about is sex 24/7. They're always thinking about the dick. Oh, and because they love sex so much, they'll do anything for sex. They'll cheat on me because they like sex so much. They're all sluts. Sluts, okay? Like, do not be thinking that, okay? Nuke that little thought right fucking now, okay? Realize that, first of all, okay, women probably have a lot more self-control when it comes to sleeping around than you do. Okay, if you put yourself in her shoes, what's happening every single day of her life? She's being offered sex. Okay, pretty much every single guy was like, you know what? Do you need help with your grocery bags there? What is he basically saying? Do you want to fuck? Okay, every little guy's like, you know, if the option's here, you know, if you want to take it, you know, I won't refuse, you know, sex. And what is she doing? No. Okay, a girl declines more sex in her life than you will ever decline. Okay, when's the last time you declined sex? And you're like, you know what? No. And she's like, please. And you're like, no. Okay, probably never. Okay, as a guy, you're like, you know what? Easy investment. Any fucking girl I'll fuck. Women have a lot more self-control. They deny a lot more fucking guys, like hundreds, thousands, okay? And guess what? If at times, you know, there's the occasional little break in her willpower, and she's like, you know what? Oh, I just fucked this guy. Big fucking deal, okay? Look at the bigger picture. Look at the small percentage of guys that she fucks. Okay? And don't be insecure about this either. Okay? Don't come from that little judgmental frame of mind where you're like, oh, I don't know if I should date this girl now because she loves sex so much, she's probably going to cheat. You know, if my girlfriend is being offered sex thousands of times a day, who knows what the fuck is going to happen? No. Okay? Let go of that. If you're all paranoid, guess what? She probably will cheat. Okay? Just be non-judgmental, just at ease. It's all good, okay? Realize that oftentimes too, the source of that insecurity is because you can't cope with the fact that she's had more sexual experiences than you. It's like, oh, she's been with more guys, she has more options, yeah, and you just get all paranoid. Let go of that, okay? Realize that as a girl, her sexual peak will come a lot earlier, okay? Like in her 20s, she's like all youthful and beautiful. And for a guy, you know, it kind of lasts over the course of a lifetime and the peak will come later. Okay, so let go of that and realize too that if the girl loves you, okay, she forgets about all those other guys she's been with. She doesn't even notice all the other guys that just hit on her. Okay, she might not just block them off, okay? She might take in the validation, but don't get paranoid. You're like, you know what? It's all good. She loves me, and I'm not going to indulge in that little insecure, paranoid, judgmental way of thinking where I'm like, oh, she's gonna cheat, because guess what? That is when the cheating actually does happen. Okay, so nuke that thought from your mind right now. And realize as well that just because a girl likes sex, okay, doesn't mean that she's a slut. Okay, there's a big misconception there as well, where people think that most girls, you know, might have 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 sexual partners, you know, like under 10 sexual partners, and that's like the majority, like say 90% of women, and then there's that little 10% up there of mythical sluts. You know, it's like the little 10%, they have like 10, 20, 30, hundreds of sexual partners, and they are sluts, and I want to stay away from those. You know, I want a normal girl, you know, I want the 90%, okay, but all that is just fucking wrong, okay? In reality, it's like maybe 5% of women have had under, say, 5 or, you know, 10 sexual partners, you know, little 5%, and oftentimes it's because of religious reasons, okay? It's like, oh, I don't want to because, you know, no sex before marriage or whatever it may be, and other times it's just because they're fucking weird, okay? Girls who've had like 2 to 3 or 4, maybe 5 sexual partners are fucking weird most of the time. Now, of course, okay, there are like the little rare exceptions, but most of the time they're fucking weird. Then there's maybe 90% of women who've had, you know, say 20, 30, 50 sexual partners, okay, and those are like the normal girls. And then there's another little 5% of women who've had like hundreds, and you can consider those sluts. Okay, now of course, I'm just making up these numbers off the top of my head, okay, it's not like 5% exactly, but just to give you a general idea, okay? Women love sex, and most normal girls have had multiple sexual partners, okay? It doesn't mean that they're sluts. If you ask any guy who's good, okay, if he's put alone in a house with a girl, okay, and say they spend a week together, if you ask him, like, are you guys gonna eventually wind up having sex, the answer is yes, okay, even if the girl is normal. If put in the right circumstances and she's like, you know what, I actually enjoy this guy, why wouldn't she fuck him? Okay, so it doesn't mean that she's a fucking slut. This is the new reality. Now, if this is news to you, okay, this is something that you may find a little shocking, like, whoa, you know, women love sex, what? Here is why. Okay, first of all, women have 2 personalities. Okay, one for people who they find attractive and another for people who they find unattractive. Okay, we call this the lover versus the provider. Okay, so basically, whenever a woman is interacting with a man, she's going to categorize that man as being either the lover, Okay, and this here, linking it back to caveman times, is that alpha guy, okay, that sex-worthy, naturally attractive guy who taps into that raw attraction. He's like, you know what, I'm the shit. He's carefree. He doesn't judge the girl, okay, because ultimately girls will also be whatever you expect them to be. So if you're like, you know what, it's fine, let loose. I know you love sex. It's all good. I'm not going to judge you, whatever. She's going to be like, whoa, okay, she's going to act very differently with that guy, probably sleep with him a lot faster than, say, the provider. Okay, and a provider is usually a guy who's a little bit more judgmental. You know, he's like, you know what? I want a girlfriend, but she can't sleep around. She can't like sex. She can't be a slut. You know, I'm very judgmental. I'm going to be screening for all of this. And the less promiscuous she is, you know, I'm going to treat her right and buy her all these dinners, buy her all these nice fancy meals. I'm going to provide to her in order to get her. Okay, when she sees a guy who's a provider, usually she'll hold off sleeping with him in order not to be judged. And also, the longer she waits, the more she can actually get away with in terms of the services that he provides. Okay, he's like, you know what, come for dinner, come for dinner. And she's like, I would never sleep with you, peck on the cheek. He's like, oh, more dinners then, more dinners. And he just keeps on chasing and chasing. And she can ultimately use that little provider to buy her all these services to take care of her. And meanwhile, if you're a lover, you know, she'll like fuck them on the side a lot faster. Okay, so women have two personalities, lover, provider, and if this is news to you, guess what? Probably up to now, you've been categorized as being a provider. The other reason is that in society, men and women are judged by different socially established standards. Okay, there's a double standard. Ultimately, if a guy goes around and say he sleeps with multiple women, okay, what happens? People will probably congratulate him. They'll be like, dude, you're the shit. Fuck yeah, this guy's a boss. Women will actually be more attracted, like, oh, that guy is awesome. You know, he has the social proof there. They're like, if other women want him, I want him as well. That means he's special. That means he's one of those, you know, alpha sex-worthy guys. It actually brings him up on the social ladder. Okay, now what happens if a woman does that? She sleeps around, has multiple sexual partners. Slut. No one wants to be with that girl. She loses her value. Okay, she drops on the social ladder. She has a really bad reputation, and ultimately that does not increase her chance of survival or reproduction. Okay, so for men, if they sleep around, fuck yeah. For women, if they sleep around, boo. Okay, so there is a double standard there. And ultimately what you have to realize is that women love sex, they want sex, but because, okay, I have this standard here, they pretend that they don't, okay? Because if they openly admit it, okay, social ladder, fucked. Okay, so like, oh, we don't like sex, and they live in this constant dilemma, okay? And ultimately, if they aren't that sexually open with you, it's because you didn't make them feel like it was okay. You didn't make them feel like what they were doing or what you wanted them to do was cool. Okay, so the best analogy I have to illustrate this is what I like to call the my boss Michael analogy. Okay, so let's just say, for example, that right now you work at Starbucks. Okay, really just picture it. You work at Starbucks, and one day, okay, your boss Michael comes up to you and he's like, listen, you've been doing a great job here at Starbucks, and I'm going to offer you a promotion. Okay, tomorrow night you are going to be promoted, and you're going to have your dream job. Okay, so really picture it. Right now, your dream job, whatever that may be. Nothing to do with Starbucks, your fucking dream job. On top of that, you will have infinite money, infinite abundance, infinite freedom, everything you've ever wanted, the pinnacle, the peak, it's yours tomorrow night. You've fucking killed it here, it's all yours. On top of that, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna throw you a fucking party. Okay, tomorrow night there's gonna be a party where I'm going to invite the top 100 beautiful women on Earth. Okay, and when I say top 100, I don't mean the random top 100, I mean your personal top 100. Okay, so think back to your childhood, your high school crush, okay, whatever woman you want, you know, it could be celebrities, models, actresses, your personal top 100 are going to be there to celebrate that promotion with you. Just you and 100 fucking women naked. That's the party. Okay, so tomorrow night, promotion, party, sound good? You're like, yes, thank you. Yes, like this is the best, okay? This is like the best thing that could ever happen to you. So you're like, fuck yeah. Now Michael's like, listen, I'm glad you're appreciative, but there's one condition. And that condition is you're gonna go to this party and you're gonna enjoy yourself and you're gonna have fun, but you're not allowed to sleep with any of the women there. If you sleep with a woman there, you are fired. You have nothing, okay? That dream job, that money, that freedom, the abundance, gone. Okay, so you're like, oh, okay, well that kind of sucks, but you know what? I'm going to enjoy myself. It's all good. Okay, so Michael's like, fine, have fun. Okay, so you go to the party the next night, and as soon as you enter the room, the 100 women there just start hitting on you. Okay, not just hitting on you like, oh, I like how you're dressed. They're like grabbing you, trying to grab your dick, trying to turn you on. They're like, you know what, just fuck us all at the same time right now. And you're like, oh my God, just getting massively emotionally turned on. But then you look up and say there's a little balcony, overlooking the scene, and you just see Michael there like, is he gonna sleep with him? Like just, making sure nothing happens. So you're like, you're caught in that little dilemma. You're like, I really emotionally want to, but logically Michael's there, and if I do, I lose it all. Okay, pretty similar to a girl. It's like, oh, I love sex, but if I do something, I'll feel judged and I'll lose it all. Okay, now let's just say that one of the girls there, okay, who's a little more socially savvy than the rest, takes you, drags you to the side behind like this little pole where Michael can't see. Okay, and then she tells you, listen, Michael can't see us right now. He will never know. I will never tell him, just fuck me, it's okay, stick it in. Okay, now what did she successfully do? She made you feel like what you emotionally want to do is okay. Okay, she helped you with the rationalizations, and you're like, done. Okay, so you want to do that when you're interacting with women. It's like women love sex, but there's always a Michael. Okay, where is the Michael? Is it the friends who are judging her? Is it the environment? Is it you? Okay, because sometimes she doesn't want to feel like, oh, like I don't want to tell this guy that I love sex because then he'll judge me as well. Where's the Michael? And make her feel comfortable, okay, doing what she emotionally wants to do. The way that I view it is there are two brains in a woman. There's the logical brain and the emotional brain. Okay, and emotionally, as long as you tap into that raw attraction, where basically like she'll sleep with you for validation, like, oh my God, you're good. Okay, she's emotionally attracted. But on the logical side, there's the whole like socially conditioned mind where she's like, oh, the Michael, I'm gonna lose my value. Okay, and oftentimes if she's just really turned on, she'll kind of do the rationalizations for herself, but you can also help her with that, and you do that by dragging her behind the pole, basically taking all of the accountability off of her shoulders. So be sure to keep all of this in mind when interacting with women from now on. Okay, what is attraction? Value. Okay, basically anything that increases your chance of survival or reproduction, and beyond that, good emotions. Okay, that there is not viewed in terms of money or looks. It's in the subcommunicated behavioral cues. Okay, looks and money are not a fucking excuse. Beyond that, men are logical, women are emotional. Okay, they're not like you, and focus more on the sub-communications. Okay, change her mood, not her mind. The magic that happens in an interaction is in the deeper layer. Okay, not the surface layer, for example, the words or the content. Okay, it's in the emotions. Okay, focus on adding to the fun, challenging her, and commanding. Okay, more fun, everyone loves it. Challenging, masculine polarity, commanding, masculine energy. Okay, and of course, accept that women love sex, okay, but they're not gonna blatantly show it to you by risk of losing social value. And what I would even recommend doing with this last one is taking it to the fucking limit. Okay, from now on, every single girl that you interact with, the way you should be viewing her is this girl is thinking about getting fucked 24/7. Okay, all women are sex crazed nymphos. Okay, how is this going to help you? Ultimately, if you're talking to her and you think that she doesn't like sex, what's going to happen? You're going to feel very bad, very uncertain. There's not going to be that decisiveness and pretty much guilty moving things forward. You're like, listen, I know you don't want me to touch you, but I have to. Yeah, I know you don't want me to fuck you, but I have to. And there's not going to be that hump behind it. Okay, so take on the belief that women are constantly thinking about getting fucked. You're not trying to trick them into anything or like take something from them. You're giving them what they want.